This is the brand new POCO M4 Pro 5G, and I've been using it for like a week or two at this point, and I have to start by saying that the POCO M4 Pro 5G is quite a weird one. It's not exactly as affordable or entry level like all the other POCO M series phones that we tried so far. So let's get into it. So we should start by talking about the design of this phone first. So when we look at the phone, for me personally, I immediately realized that it's using a very similar design as the POCO M3 that we reviewed last year, but it's been flattened and it doesn't have that faux leather texture anymore. It has been changed to this matte finish instead. The humongous camera cutout of the POCO M3 has now been changed to this two-tone design, which I think it looks okay. And the screen is also very simple. It's now a 6.6-inch IPS LCD screen with the typical resolution of 2400 by 1080, and it can go up to 90Hz refresh rate. The colors are decent and its brightness isn't that high, but like any other IPS LCD screen phones, if you want to use it outdoors, then you have to be straining your eyes a little bit more. And for the cameras at the back here, even though it looks like there are a lot of cameras on this phone here, but actually there's only two cameras. There's one main camera and one ultra-wide angle camera. Both of them take decent pictures overall, and I would say the algorithm that controls the exposure is a bit wonky at times. Certain shots are underexposed for my personal liking, but there are some shots that are really bright. I'm not sure what's going on since these pictures are taken on a gloomy day and it's already about to rain. What we've said also applies to indoor shots too, by the way. I also say that night mode on the POCO M4 Pro 5G is actually decent. Now for the performance side of things, this phone is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 810 chipset, and overall I think its performance is, I would say, acceptable for this price range. Like what we mentioned in our gaming test video, which you can check it out at the top right corner there, the graphical settings are a bit weird. We can play Genshin Impact at the lowest graphical settings and it's slightly above 30 FPS for most of the times, but graphical settings for games like PUBG Mobile, COD Mobile, and even Mobile Legends are very low. And with that said, now comes the battery side of things. So this phone comes with a 5000 mAh battery and it lasts for a very long time as expected, so it will last you throughout one whole day and more without much of an issue. For the charger side of things, there's only a 33-watt charger included in the box, and this is the exact same charger and battery capacity that we've encountered many times in the past, so it will charge from 15 to 100% in about 75 minutes or so. And let's not forget about the software side of things, because it's running a modified version of MIUI, but in truth it seems like just the home screen launcher has been changed. So the POCO M4 Pro 5G comes with a lot of pre-installed apps, and I would say those are the pre-installed apps that I would consider as bloatware, because I am definitely not gonna touch those trashy mobile games for sure. And if you think the regular version of MIUI is problematic, then I have a surprise for you, because this modified version of MIUI for the POCO M4 Pro 5G is much more problematic. I have two issues to highlight here. Number one is the NFC persistent notifications that cannot be dismissed. If you want to dismiss this notification, you would have to disable NFC entirely, which makes this very scarce feature even more pointless. And this is one issue that we have not encountered on any other Xiaomi or POCO smartphones in the past. The second issue that we notice here is dark mode. For some reason, they managed to screw up dark mode even more, because now apps like Facebook Messenger or even Facebook itself has black on black text, which means that you cannot read anything. Enabling or disabling dark mode within Facebook's apps will do nothing. So the only way that you can circumvent this is by heading into the advanced settings for dark mode options in the MIUI settings menu and disabling that forced dark mode for those particular apps. So far, I have installed many apps on this phone just to try out if these kind of issues will persist within multiple different companies' apps. And the other one that I found that is noticeable is Netflix, with all the subtitles being black in color. So all of these dark mode issues I've already reported back to Xiaomi. Hopefully they'll be able to push out an update to fix it soon. And then some other miscellaneous stuff to mention is that the POCO M4 Pro 5G does come with dual speakers, but the earpiece speaker is just horrendous, so I wouldn't use that. And also the POCO M4 Pro 5G comes with one dedicated SIM card slot with a combo slot instead of having 3 dedicated slots like many other phones do. So before we get into the conclusion, we need to talk about the price, because the POCO M4 Pro 5G with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage will price at 849 ringgit. Honestly, I expected this phone to be at around 749 ringgit, but turns out that is the promotional price instead of the retail price. So I would consider this phone to be rather a bit high in price for what it has to offer. So for the conclusion, here's a one-liner for you. This is a decent phone with decent hardware, but the software is even more broken than before, and its price is also not that low. That is why I suggest that if you want to get the POCO M4 Pro 5G, wait for a sale and get it at about 749 ringgit. So that's it. That's all we have to share with you about the POCO M4 Pro 5G, and we'll see you guys in the next video.